Hello and good morning and welcome back to Simply Greg's Review. Behind us is a 2025 Volvo EX30 rear-wheel drive. This is an EV that I've been extremely excited to drive, but also extremely excited to have it on the channel because I know a lot of you viewers have been wanting to see it. So we finally got our hands on one and we'll get into it. We'll do a bit of a deep dive and we'll do what we always do. Review it, go for a drive and see what it's like. Let's go. Here we are, 2025 Volvo EX30. This is somewhat of a base model, rear-wheel drive, 69 kilowatt hour battery, 64 usable, 238 horsepower, roughly 420 kilometers of range on it. This one here, as tested, roughly 60,000 Canadian dollars. I find it looks absolutely fantastic. Volvo's recent design language has been really nice. Futuristic looking, but not too over the top. It's very, I would say it's your typical Swedish design language. Would look good in anybody's driveway. This one here is equipped with a heat pump because we are in the Canadian market, so it does have a heat pump. I understand that some markets don't have a heat pump on the lower end models, and I believe this is in ultra trim. There's a few different trim options here: all-wheel drive, performance. This one here, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in mid 5s, 5.3, 5.4 seconds. We'll test that out soon. But again, looks really fantastic, but it's also really small at the same time. We're about -8 Celsius outside, so it's pretty cold and my hands are freezing. But still, their design language is really nice these days. I absolutely love it, especially down here on the headlights. Sorry if it's a bit dirty. We've had that snowstorm, and as you can see, there's a ton of snow everywhere, so the cars don't stay clean for very long. But again, absolutely fantastic looking. This one here is on 20-inch wheels, Michelin X-Ice 3 for winter tires. We'll go have a look inside and see what that's like, but I just want to point out some cool design features. You have your Volvo tags here. You have your 20-inch wheels that are, again, somewhat of an aero wheel. Very similar door handles to a Polestar. We'll see if we can get back in here. There we go. Hold on, you have to hold the key back up here. But again, we'll focus on that after actually getting in the car. Looks really good. Your typical Volvo design. Let's have a look in the back, actually, see what that's like. Plenty of space back here. There's plenty of space back here as well. Let's have a quick look on the inside. Again, these Volvos are always full of Easter eggs here. So you have your EX30 badging here. Available a couple trim options. So first we'll touch on the interior materials. Volvo always advertises they use recycled materials, and they're one of the manufacturers that have the highest content of recycled materials. All the door panels are all recycled plastics. The seat materials, recycled plastics. Super high quality interior here. I love this door handle. That's really easy to open. You're not fiddling around for it. Very clean style here because your window switches are in the center console. We'll touch on this in a minute. Let's go have a look in back. I'll move my stuff out of the way here. So this is set up for my driving. It is really tight back here. It is super tight back here. I mean, I don't really fit at all. I'd probably have to move the seat forward. It does have a full glass roof on it, which is nice. I always love the glass roofs. Let me get out of here without the jaws of life. A bit tight back there if you had to put 4 adults into it, but super high quality interior. Let's have a look at the interior space in the trunk, the storage space. Lots of room back here. You could definitely store some luggage. Lots of room underneath there. And it does have a minuscule frunk, which is no point showing. Again, over here, super nice interior, but a bit small back there. But this is a small vehicle. As I mentioned, this is a really small vehicle overall. In terms of Volvo, it's one of the smallest Volvos that they've sold here recently. And also, the performance model is one of the I believe the fastest Volvo ever. This is your passenger side. Again, high quality door cards. Everything in here is high quality, looks super easy to clean. Lots of storage space down here. And again, nice dashboard and everything going on over here. As you know, in my reviews, I'm not going to sit there saying, oh, well, you have 18 cameras and whatever. I think we're all used to the ADAS on cars these days. We'll get back inside. So you see here, they have their somewhat square steering wheel, but these steering wheels, the square steering wheel is becoming somewhat common on cars these days. We were at the auto show in Toronto last week, and a lot more cars are coming with the square steering wheel. Maybe they looked at an Austin Princess from the 1970s and decided that was a good idea, but it's actually quite comfortable to use. Very nice layout here, very simple, very thin wheel as well, not thick and chunky. Your wipers and lights are here. Simple drive select is here, very easy to use, not in some weird spot. Also, here, I'll put this back in park. Also, instant on. Cup holders are through here. Window switches are here, very easy to use again. Your lock unlock, and you could switch it back to the rear windows. Super easy to use on that. Wireless charging, all of that stuff. A lot of reviews have said the software has been a bit wonky, and to be fair with you, it's crashed on me a couple times, but I do know how to restart it. That's been quite annoying, but everything here is controlled. Everything is controlled through the onboard screen. So your glove box is down there. That opens up. You close that back up. Your boot lid, obviously, we've already been back there. One pedal driving alerts here. Your rain is all. So everything is controlled by the center screen, as is normal on most cars these days, from what we see on this channel. I'm fine with it, but I find a lot of stuff is buried, really buried in the menu. Like if we go to driving, you have your pilot assist and all of that, but everything is kind of buried. And steering feel, I haven't noticed a difference between soft, medium, and firm or anything really noticeable, but we'll get into that shortly. It is super fast. That's what I like. It is a super fast screen, very responsive. It's just some of the software, it's crashed on me. It's frozen up, but overall not bad. I mean, I would say it's on average with what the industry is these days. You have your system here, all of that stuff. And before someone says, well, you're not up to date on the latest software update, it says we are software up to date here, and it doesn't have any release notes, so that's fine. But overall good for the software, overall good for the interior. You have more features up here, even your heated seats and everything, they're controlled on the onboard screen. I think sometimes some of this maybe should move back to old-fashioned buttons. Just a simple button layout over here would make a world of difference. One thing I do want to mention that I feel I don't mention enough in my videos is the efficiency. So 733 kilometers, average efficiency has been 25.5 kilowatt hours per 100. But today's drive was about 50 kilometers to go out and film this. We were averaging 23 kilowatt hours. So the wintertime efficiency, I would say, is roughly average what you would see in the wintertime. I'd like to retest this in the summertime to see what the summertime efficiency is, but we all know wintertime efficiency is not the greatest because you have the heat on and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to point this out. This is wintertime efficiency on here, but worth noting as we don't talk about efficiency enough on this channel where I post the numbers. Reading from the press sheet now, price 59,100 Canadian dollars, as optioned. Price as tested, $60,600 Canadian. The only option on here is the 20-inch 5-spoke aero wheel. Crucial stuff for $1,500, 245 40/20 tires. And as I mentioned, the Canadian market cars do have a heat pump because as far as I understand, in Europe, there's actually a smaller battery version, 42 kilowatts, 45 kilowatts, but doesn't have a heat pump. Its cousin, the Smart #1, roughly the same vehicle. This is built in China by Geely or Geely, depending who you ask how you pronounce it. Similar platform, similar battery pack, similar options. As I mentioned, 69 kilowatt hour battery nominal, 64 usable, 268 horsepower, 253 foot-pounds of torque. let's go take it for a drive and to see what it's like, because all these figures on my phone are meaningless unless you actually go and drive it. Let's hop in, let's go. Right, let's take it for a drive. We'll put it in drive and we'll set off. As I said, I don't notice much of a difference between the steering feel on here, between medium, soft, and firm. One of the things I don't like about it, and I've been driving it now for just a little while, is the brake pedal feel. It has a very long and very soft brake pedal. I prefer driving vehicles that have a very short but very hard brake pedal. It gives you a bit more confidence. This doesn't give you any confidence at all. It feels like there's error in the brake system. And again, it's using a somewhat of a brake-by-wire system on here, as all vehicles are using these days. But the ride itself is not bad. It's a bit choppy, but you're not overly uncomfortable. I do find it's a bit loud though. This vehicle has 6,000 kilometers on it, and it feels just a bit like it knocks around the suspension, but it's not uncomfortable or anything like that. The square steering wheel I quite enjoy. It's actually pretty comfortable. I laughed at it at first, but I do like it. And it's just it's just a pleasant vehicle to drive. It's probably one of the most memorable EVs I've driven in recent memory, and we focused on a lot of EVs on this channel, and it's on the Michelin X-Ice 3 snow tires, so you have a good amount of grip here. Let's try to do a acceleration run. The road, as you can see, it's a bit snowy, but we should be good. Let's see if we could get this done. There we go, foot down. Oh, she's spinning, but it's straight. It's staying straight. As I said, 0 to 100 time on this, 5.3, 5.4 seconds, which is plenty quick in a daily driving. I don't really think you need more than that these days. Even if it was mid 6 seconds, it'd still be quick. 268 horsepower, 253 foot-pounds of torque. No issues whatsoever. In terms of charging speeds, Volvo claims 10 to 80% in roughly 27 minutes, 28 minutes. So peak rates 158 kilowatts. One thing I do like about the EX30, it's just so much fun to drive. It's so lively. Weight's about 1,800, 1,900 kilos, so about 4,000 pounds or so. And it's just so lively when you drive it, as everything goes flying. You could really throw it into the corner. It doesn't feel like a heavy EV at all. Very, very composed and firm. Brake in a straight line. We'll toss it in here. Yeah, super fun, as we just hit a bit of snow there on the exit. Yeah, super fun. I've really enjoyed driving this one. Not a lot of cars put a giant smile on my face anymore, because they're so heavy and they're just floppy and floaty. But this has really put a smile on my face. I've been driving it for hours already, and it's just a lot of fun to drive. It's so nice and so refreshing to get into a car that you want to drive, and it puts a smile on your face. That's what driving is all about. It's always been about having fun and putting on your smile on your face. Not only will this look good in front of your house, you're going to have a good time doing it, and you're going to have a fun time doing it, and you're not going to feel sad driving it. And so much of that has been lost with cars these days. You get into them and they're just boring to drive. They just become an A to B transportation, kind of like a fridge. But this is just so much fun to drive. They did a really good job, and this is a spec I would have. I would have it rear-wheel drive, $60,000 base spec. I don't think you really need more than this, like, especially myself. I live in the city, and this thing has more than enough power. It's perfectly adequate. Yeah, if you want to get the performance model and do 0 to 100 in 3.5 seconds, fine, go for it. I'm not going to stop you, but I don't want you, the viewer, thinking, or the owner thinking, that this is slow by any means. This is not slow whatsoever. It's instant power, as we know with EVs, and I'm just being dead honest with you. I'm just having so much fun driving it around. It's absolutely a blast. Let's pull over and we'll give some final thoughts on the EX30. I must say, the EX30 has absolutely left me smiling. I'm so happy that I get to bring you these videos. I'm so happy and grateful that I get to drive so many different EVs on this channel. And this one here has left me, I don't even know, it's left me at a loss for words. It is so much fun to drive. It's not perfect. It has a few issues. I don't like that long brake pedal. Some of the software is a bit wonky, and maybe just the back's a bit cramped. But you know what? I was looking forward to driving it, and for once, I wasn't let down. I'm so happy I got to drive it. It looks fantastic. It drives fantastic. It handles fantastic. They really hit the ball out of the park on this one. I've always been a fan of Volvos. I've had a few Volvos, but there's just something about it that I love. I love the way it looks, as I said. I love the way it drives, but it's just cool. There's a certain cool factor with Volvo that you don't get with other brands, because they've always been a bit different. They've always been a bit odd, and that's how Swedish car manufacturers have always been. They just do their own thing. And this is totally a definite buy from me. Go out, drive one, different trim levels. We could sit here all day talking about the different option packages on this car, but for me personally, I think the way it's spec'd right now is the way I would have it. Rear wheel drive, not a lot of options, just super cool to drive. I'm genuinely happy and I'm genuinely smiling in this video. It's left me kind of blown away. So happy that I got to drive it and finally post about it on the channel. So if you made it this far, please think about liking and subscribing. And that's going to be it for the Volvo EX30. I hope you enjoyed watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.